The story takes a darker turn. Secrets are no longer whispers but open wounds, and the characters we thought we understood begin to show sides we never imagined. Just when you believe you know who holds the power, the ground shifts beneath their feet. These episodes are not just chapters in a drama, they are storms that test loyalty, love, and survival itself. Season 2 of Beauty and Black has already been filled with suspense, heartbreak, and dangerous games. But episodes 5 through 8 elevate the story into something even more gripping. At this stage, the show is no longer introducing us to who these characters are. Instead, it is pulling us deeper into the battles they fight, both against the world and within themselves. The tension is heavy, and every decision feels like it could break not only relationships but entire destinies. What makes these episodes stand out is the way the pace suddenly accelerates. Where earlier episodes laid foundations, episodes 5 to 8 build towering conflicts on top of them. Each scene feels like a piece of a puzzle that is leading to a larger, more dangerous picture. Every line of dialogue is loaded with meaning, every glance between characters is sharpened with unspoken truths. If Season 2 began as a tale of elegance wrapped in mystery, this middle stretch transforms it into a battlefield of emotions and power. As viewers, we are caught between admiration and suspicion. We can't help but admire how the characters fight for what they desire, but at the same time, we're suspicious of their motives. In these episodes, no one is truly innocent. Even those who appear weak are playing a role in the larger game, waiting for their chance to strike. This sense of unpredictability is what makes the viewing experience so addictive. You keep asking yourself, who will win this round? And more importantly, who will lose everything? The creators know exactly how to hook us. They don't give away too much at once. Instead, they let the tension simmer slowly. When a secret comes out, it is not thrown at us. It is carefully placed, like a dagger being revealed at just the right moment. That careful storytelling creates a rhythm slow enough to build anxiety, but sharp enough to shock us when the truth finally hits. Episodes 5 to 8 also mark the point where the characters' true colors are revealed. Masks start slipping and alliances begin to crumble. The show makes us realize that in Beauty and Black, appearances are dangerous illusions. The most polished character may be the most deceptive. The kindest smile may hide the sharpest betrayal, and the strongest figure may secretly be the weakest of them all. This duality keeps us on the edge, forcing us to question everything we see on screen. What stands out in this section of the season is the growth of intensity. Conflicts are not just personal, they are strategic. Every move feels like it could either protect or destroy the balance of power. This makes the series far more than just drama. It turns it into a chess match where love, trust, and ambition are the pawns being sacrificed for the sake of victory. The writing makes us think beyond the surface. What does loyalty really mean in a world where everyone is hiding something? As we prepare to dive into the detailed breakdown of episodes 5 through 8, it's important to recognize how masterfully the show positions these episodes as a turning point. They are not simply continuations, they are transformations. From episode 5 onward, the story evolves into something darker, heavier, and more dangerous. The stakes are higher, and the cost of mistakes is deadly. Each episode is like stepping into a room where the air grows colder, the shadows stretch longer, and the feeling of danger never leaves. This introduction is not just about setting the mood, it's about warning us. If we thought Season 2 was only about beauty and elegance, these episodes remind us that true beauty often hides scars, and behind every graceful movement lies the weight of secrets too heavy to carry. That is why episodes 5 to 8 are not just part of the season, they are the very heart of it. Episodes 5 through 8 of Beauty and Black Season 2 feel like a carefully woven storm. Each one pulls us deeper into betrayal, longing, and power plays that test every relationship. These are not filler episodes, they are the spine of the season, where every glance, every whispered word, and every unspoken thought holds weight. Let's walk through the turning points that make these episodes unforgettable. Episode 5 begins with silence, but not the comforting kind. It is the silence before an explosion. Characters move with caution as if they all sense something dangerous lingering in the air. Old secrets begin to surface, not because people confess them willingly, but because cracks in their carefully built lies can no longer hold. In this episode, the show reminds us that truth has its own way of escaping, even when everyone tries to bury it. A confrontation erupts, small at first like a spark, but that spark ignites long-brewing tension into open conflict. By the end of the episode, trust is shattered, and alliances that once seemed unbreakable start to fracture. Episode 6 sharpens the tension. Where the previous episode broke relationships apart, this one forces the characters to make choices. It is no longer about hiding. It is about survival. We see characters standing at a crossroads. Should they cling to loyalty or should they betray for protection? This is where the writing shines. It doesn't hand us easy answers. Each decision feels heavy, like a stone dropped into water, creating ripples that disturb everyone's lives. Episode 6 introduces one of the most shocking betrayals yet, a moment so carefully staged that viewers are left speechless. It is not loud or theatrical, it is quiet, deliberate, and that's what makes it terrifying. A single choice alters the balance of power, proving once again that in Beauty and Black, victory often comes at the cost of humanity. Episode 7 is where the storm rages at full force. Anger, heartbreak, and ambition collide in ways that leave us breathless. The episode thrives on tension between characters who once shared affection but now share only suspicion. The beauty of this installment lies in its duality. Moments of tenderness appear, but they are immediately poisoned by the shadow of mistrust. A love that once felt pure now feels like a weapon. A friendship that once felt unshakable now trembles under the weight of envy. Episode 7 ends with a cliffhanger that feels less like an ending and more like a dagger left hanging above the story, ready to drop at any moment. It is the kind of ending that makes you lean forward, desperate to know what happens next. Episode 8 is the aftermath and the preparation. Where Episode 7 left us in chaos, Episode 8 forces the characters to pick up the broken pieces. But rather than rebuild, they sharpen those pieces into weapons. This is where strategies take shape. The careful plotting, the whispered plans, the dangerous alliances, they all set the stage for the final stretch of the season. Episode 8 doesn't explode in the same way Episode 7 does, but it doesn't need to. It is the tightening of the noose, the deep breath before the plunge. The ending of this episode leaves us with the uneasy knowledge that everything we have seen so far has only been the warm-up. The real battles are yet to come. Across these 4 episodes, what stands out most is the way the show layers its storytelling. Nothing is wasted. Every small scene has purpose. A single glance between 2 characters can hold more weight than an entire argument. The creators understand that suspense is not about shouting, it's about whispering just enough to keep us awake at night, questioning motives and replaying moments in our heads. The brilliance of episodes 5 to 8 lies not just in their events, but in how those events change the characters. We see innocence turn into suspicion, love into weaponry, and trust into currency. Characters who seem steady are now trembling, while those who appeared weak begin to reveal their strength in unexpected ways. Watching these episodes is like watching a game of chess where the pawns finally realize they, too, can destroy kings and queens. By the end of episode 8, one thing becomes clear: nothing is as it was before. The story has crossed a line, and there is no going back. The board is reset, the stakes are higher, and every character now knows they are walking on a blade's edge. This is not just the middle of the season, it is the moment when the show declares war on our expectations, asterisk. When we look closely at episodes 5 through 8 of Beauty and Black Season 2, we find ourselves face to face with the show's true strength, its ability to weave human weakness into power struggles. These episodes are not simply about plot twists or shocking betrayals. They are mirrors reflecting how fragile trust can be, how easily love can turn to poison, and how ambition always demands sacrifice. This section of the story does not just entertain, it makes us question what it means to survive in a world built on masks and manipulation. One of the most striking themes in this arc is betrayal as survival. In episode 6 especially, betrayal is not framed as cruelty, it is framed as necessity. The character who commits it does not do so out of malice, but out of fear. The show asks us to imagine, what would you do if your only choices were to destroy someone you love or be destroyed yourself? That question lingers in the background of every scene. The brilliance lies in the quiet way the betrayal unfolds. It isn't loud, it isn't theatrical, it is subtle. And that subtlety makes it sting twice as hard. Another theme running deep in these episodes is the collapse of illusions. For much of the season, characters have hidden behind beauty, wealth, or charm. But by episode 7, those illusions are cracked wide open. A smile that once promised safety now feels like a lie. A bond that once felt unbreakable now feels like a chain dragging both characters into darkness. The show reminds us that appearances are dangerous. The most graceful character can be the most destructive, and the weakest voice can sometimes deliver the most powerful blow. This is where the writing transforms the drama into something psychological. It is no longer about what is happening, but about what each moment means. Character arcs deserve their own spotlight. The lead character shows us how strength can exist even in silence. While others lash out or betray, their quiet resilience becomes louder than any scream. On the other hand, supporting characters who once seemed trustworthy reveal sides that make us uncomfortable. The beauty of this storytelling lies in its refusal to give us heroes and villains. Everyone is both guilty and innocent, both fragile and dangerous. We are not watching a war between good and evil, we are watching a war between survival and destruction. The pacing in these episodes is another detail worth noting. In episodes 1 to 4, the story moved like a river, steady, calm, occasionally rushing. But in episodes 5 to 8, it becomes a storm. The narrative rhythm speeds up, yet it never feels rushed. Instead, it feels calculated, as though the writers are deliberately tightening the rope around both the characters and the audience. Every episode ends with the sense that we are running out of time, that something catastrophic is drawing closer. This careful control of tension is what makes these episodes so gripping visually and emotionally. Episodes 5 to 8 lean heavily into contrast. Scenes of elegance, lavish rooms, perfect clothing, CLM music are interrupted by chaos, tears, accusations, violent outbursts. It is almost as if the show is telling us that beauty itself is dangerous. The more polished the surface, the darker the secrets buried underneath. This duality gives the series its unique identity. It is not just drama, it is a story about masks and the pain of wearing them for too long. The most powerful aspect of these episodes, however, is the way they handle power dynamics. Authority shifts constantly, like sand beneath the tide. One moment, a character appears to hold all the cards, only for the ground to collapse beneath them in the next scene. Watching this is like watching a game of chess where every piece is alive, plotting and willing to sacrifice itself if it means one more move forward. By episode 8, it becomes clear that no one is untouchable, and that even the strongest can fall with a single wrong move. What makes this analysis particularly rich is how the show refuses to give us closure. It wants us to feel uncomfortable. It wants us to argue about motives, to question whether betrayal can ever be justified, to wonder if love can survive constant suspicion. Instead of giving answers, the show offers us questions, and those questions linger long after the screen fades to black. In the end, these episodes prove one thing. Beauty in Black is not just about drama, it is about the raw humanity hidden inside that drama. It forces us to admit that we, too, might make the same choices if cornered, that beauty is often a weapon, and that survival always comes at a cost. Episodes 5 to 8 are not simply a story, they are a test. A test of loyalty, of love, and of how much darkness one can carry before the light fades completely. Asterisk as episodes 5 through 8 come to a close. The world of Beauty in Black feels transformed. What began as a story wrapped in elegance and mystery has now unraveled into something sharper, colder, and more dangerous. The charm and grace that once defined these characters have been replaced by suspicion, betrayal, and scars that may never heal. The beauty is still there, but now it feels fragile, like glass that could shatter at the slightest touch. This stretch of the season is not simply entertainment, It is the heartbeat of the entire story, pounding louder with each revelation. Looking back, what stands out most about these episodes is how deliberately they shift the narrative. They aren't content to simply continue the tale, they reshape it. Episode 5 Tears opens secrets that were never meant to see the light. Episode 6 forces choices that leave blood on the hands of even the most innocent. Episode 7 drenches the screen in conflict, pushing every relationship to the edge. And Episode 8 leaves us standing in silence, staring at the ruins of what once was, knowing full well that greater storms are still ahead. Together, they form a bridge, dark passage that carries us from the careful setup of the season into the fiery chaos of its climax. What makes this conclusion so powerful is not just the events we witnessed, but what they mean for the road ahead. Every betrayal plants the seed of revenge. Every broken alliance creates a hunger for power. Every moment of heartbreak fuels the next wave of cruelty. The writers of Beauty in Black are not simply telling a story, they are building a trap, and both the characters and the audience are caught inside it. You can feel it. Episodes 5 to 8 are the point of no return. Once you step through them, there is no going back to the elegance and calm of the beginning. From here on, the series is about survival, and survival alone, and yet there is beauty in that darkness. These episodes prove that the show is not afraid to embrace complexity. Characters are not painted in black and white. They live in the gray, where love can be both a blessing and a curse, where loyalty can either save you. The tension in this duality is what makes Beauty in Black so addictive. We don't just watch for the drama, we watch to understand the cost of ambition, the fragility of trust, and the shadows that love often casts. As viewers, episodes 5 to 8 leave us with haunting questions. Can love survive in a world where lies are currency? Can power ever be held without cruelty? And perhaps most importantly, when everyone is hiding behind a mask, is there anyone left to trust? These questions linger long after the screen fades, and they will fuel our anticipation for the next episodes. The brilliance of this series lies in how it makes us feel unsettled, not just by what happens on screen, but by the uncomfortable truths it forces us to confront about human nature itself. When I reflect on these episodes as a whole, I see them as the centerpiece of the season's story. They are the fire that burns away illusions, leaving only raw truth behind. If I were to rate them, I would place them at the very peak of the season's strength, not perfect, but unforgettable. Their flaws only add to their impact, reminding us that beauty is rarely flawless. In fact, it is the cracks, the scars, and the betrayals that make this story resonate so deeply. And now, the question falls to you, the audience. What did you think of episodes 5 through 8? Which betrayal shocked you the most? Which moment broke your heart, and which one made you gasp in disbelief? Do you think the characters can ever find redemption? Or have they already crossed the line of no return? Your theories, your reactions, your emotions, they are part of this journey too. Because a story like Beauty in Black doesn't end on the screen, it continues in the conversations we have, the debates we share, and the predictions we make for what comes next. As the series moves toward its final chapters, one thing is certain: the stakes are higher than ever and no one is safe. The finale looms ahead like a storm waiting to break, and after everything we have seen, we know that it will not show mercy. So stay alert, keep your guard up, and prepare for more twists. Because if episodes 5 to 8 taught us anything, it's that, in the world of Beauty in Black, the moment you think you're safe is the moment the ground disappears beneath you. And with that, I invite you, yes, you watching right now, to step into the discussion. Share your theories, your heartbreak, your anger, and your excitement in the comments below. Tell me, who do you think will rise and who do you think will fall as the season heads toward its climax? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to show your support, like this video, share it with others who are following the story, and subscribe so you won't miss the next review when the final storm arrives. Because this isn't just a story, it's a journey we are taking together. And if these episodes are any sign of what's to come, then trust me, the best and the darkest is still ahead.